This episode of The Black Lodge with Mike Hill is the season 1 finale episode. I hope everyone is enjoying this journey into the dark and strange universe of Twin Peaks. We're having a really killer time going through these seasons again. It's a nice blast from the past, and it's really fun doing this. And really hope everybody enjoys this. And thank you so much for listening. After you're done with this episode, make sure you check out my fellow horsemen of the podcast apocalypse, Everything Went Black podcast, Into the Necrosphere, the Necromaniacs podcast, Spitball Media, Ibis Manifestations, and the Soul Knox podcast. Also, don't forget to subscribe and like on whatever podcast service that you use. I'm also slowly working on the YouTube channel, so there should be some videos of some of these podcast episodes popping up here and there. So definitely check that out. And once again, thank you so much for listening. All right. So we have come to the conclusion of season 1. So this is going to be episode 8 of season 1, which is the season finale.
That's right, man. And that was directed and written by Mark Frost. And originally this aired on May 23rd, 1990. So it's titled The Last Evening.
That's crazy. It's so long ago, man. It kind of feels like yesterday, you know?
Well, the real scary thing is there might even be people out there who were not alive at the time that this episode came out, if you think about it.
Oh, yeah, dude. I've had a conversation recently about people that don't know what VCRs are, and some that never seen a DVD player before, which is really odd, but whatever.
Lately, I've been really embracing more physical media, man. It's just like, there's certain things out there that are just not available or they're hard to find. Mm-hmm. And I think it's important to keep it alive, like on physical, because say something happens to some streaming service disappears or gets bought by somebody, there are certain things, even like on Showtime, they had the Let the Right One In series.
Yep.
The first season's gone. You can't find it anywhere.
And that's a fucking shame, man. That show was so good, has so much potential. I wanted a season 2 so bad, and it just, like I said, disappeared. There's nowhere to be found.
Yeah, they just wiped it, and it's like, that's gone. And I was the same way, man. Initially I was like, how are you going to make a series out of this? But then Rennie was the one who turned me on to it. Our co-host over at Necro, Starkweather vocalist, he was like, check it out. You might be surprised. And it reminded me of like a Vertigo comic, the way it was written and the way the story was put together. And then it ends on a cliffhanger and then it just disappears.
Yeah. Such a shame. Such a good show. And also with the Twin Peaks connection here, Seinfeld is leaving Netflix in September, I believe. So you better go buy your fucking complete series on DVD right now while you can, because that shit's going to go up.
That's crazy, man. Yeah. Yeah. So you never know. So definitely buy Twin Peaks. There's multiple ways you can purchase this in the physical medium world. So definitely check it out.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool editions too on Amazon. There's like a recent Blu-ray edition I want to get. I can't remember the name that they're calling it, but it looks really cool. So I need to jump on that.
And now you can get it including season 3, which is I still don't have the physical copies for season 3, but I'm fixing to get that later this year.
Nice. Yeah, that's a goal of mine too, because like I said, I haven't yet to see season 3 and I'm waiting till we get to that. So that's going to be extra special for me. I can't wait.
All right, man. So if you remember from the last episode, a couple key things happened. Maddie is posing as Laura, and they call Dr. Jacoby to lure him out of his office. And we've got James and Donna who are going to break in and try to find some evidence about what happened, or try to implicate him in Laura's murder. So this episode opens up with Jacoby's office, and we see James and Donna looking around. They find a box of umbrellas, which is kind of weird, on Jacoby's desk.
Yeah, his whole office is fucking weird, man. The whole like Bahamas theme and stuff, and he has the music playing like constantly. I'm like, yeah.
And that was actually an interesting touch because you think that's part of the soundtrack or something like that, right? Like this weird Hawaiian music or whatever, and they find the switch on the wall which shuts it off.
Yeah, and then there's multiple tracks when they start switching it. It's like here's another like Hawaiian type track. Like, yeah, what a strange fella.
Yeah. So they find a coconut, which is significant because Laura mentions a coconut in her one of the cassettes that they were listening to. Because like last episode, they recovered some cassettes and things that Laura had left behind, and she talks about a coconut, and that's where they find the second half of that necklace, which I don't know if it's popular these days, but way back in the day, high school couples would oftentimes get these necklaces that were it's like a heart or like some sort of amulet that it's
Yeah,
broken in, so they fit together. It's like super corny, like high school girl shit.
yeah, and dude, I think I shared one of those with a girlfriend in middle school, I believe,
Yeah,
or
I
elementary
mean,
school. So yeah, yeah,
yeah, you're keeping it real, man. It's like that's me
yeah,
too. When I was in high school,
yeah,
we see Jacoby rolling up to see Maddie dressed as Laura, and he's kind of freaked out by that, obviously, and Jacoby and Laura had a very inappropriate relationship, if you think about it, because he was her therapist and obviously titillated by Laura's stories of debauchery, drug use, sex, and just misbehaving. You know what I mean?
hmm. Oh yeah, he's all about that stuff, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
and creeping around like in the woods, man. Like I said, everything evil comes from the woods, like anything dark, and this is another like example of that.
Well, when we finally eventually get to the secret history of Twin Peaks, and we have our episodes on that, well, they go way deeper into that. Mark
Yeah,
Frost had some ideas about this.
yeah, I can't wait to get to that. But yeah,
Yeah. So Jacoby gets jumped by somebody and he gets knocked out, and then also goes into cardiac arrest. So he has
mm,
like a heart attack too after getting struck from behind.
yeah, double beat down. That's got to suck, man.
Also, keep in mind on the last episode, Bobby had planted some drugs in James's motorcycle gas can because that comes up later in this episode.
Mhm. Yeah,
You
that's a
know,
key scene. Yeah,
yeah. So James and Donna pick up Maddie and they take her away, and they didn't know, I guess, that there was a third sort of lurker out there.
yeah, the man in black, and I don't want to give anything away, but people just have to, keep watching. But pretty
Yeah.
good surprise there. But
So now coming up are some of my favorite scenes in the entire series. Actually, um, we cut back to One Eye Jacks, and so Big Ed and Cooper last episode ventured up to One Eye Jacks in disguise.
yeah,
Cooper's was not much of a disguise, really.
no, it's basically him kind of looking more James Bondish. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he had glasses on. I think that was like the one thing that was like different about him. But
Yeah, that's it.
and I guess like at least in One Eye Jacks, it's Cooper's not a local necessarily, so he's not as doesn't have as high of a profile. So he might be able to get away with just putting a pair of glasses on to be in disguise.
Yeah,
But Big Ed's got that sick like mustache, and he's that whole Western like attire that he's wearing with the bowler tie and everything.
yeah, it's so David Lynch. You know what I mean? It's like that it definitely nails the feel of some Lynchian stuff. But yeah, and it's so out of place, but it works.
Yeah, I know. It's funny that they're trying to be in disguise, but they're such sore thumbs, like they stick out like so obviously in that bar.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. Those great scene. This whole like I said, this whole scene coming up is really good.
Yeah. So Cooper is sitting at Jacques' table. So Jacques Renault, obviously, if you guys been listening, is a key player in this little caper here. he's a dealer at One Eye Jacks, and that's in Canada, so they have different laws around gambling and all this sort of stuff. So Cooper's apparently counting cards because he beats the house. He comes
Hmm.
up with 21, and he's Jacques only has like a pair of kings or something like that. So he wins, and you know, there's talking about how he thinks he's counting cards and all that. So he's zeroing in on Jacques, and they get into this like discussion about Leo Johnson, and he's like, Leo who? Who's Leo? Totally denies knowing anything, which is obviously that's it.
Hmm.
Um, what's actually kind of funny too is like after he starts winning big, this one of the workers there rolls up and whispers something into Cooper's ear, thinking like, yeah, there's a high roller here. He's winning. He's got some disposable cash, so maybe there's some tip related work that can be done.
Yeah.
And, and Cooper's like, he's like, oh, thanks for asking.
Yeah. Typical Cooper. You know what I mean? Like he's all about business first, maybe pleasure later. And that's a big
Yeah.
maybe.
Oh, actually, I skipped the part where Cooper passes Leo a token with like a chip removed from it. Like one of the one of Jack's tokens.
Mm.
And that's what kind of leads up to the Leo Johnson interaction.
Yeah, it's a token with the piece taken out of it. And we
Yeah,
find out what happens here in a bit about that.
yeah. So we cut over to Blackie's office, and now Blackie is the madam at One Eye Jacks. She runs all the prostitutes and organizes all that sort of stuff. And tonight, coincidentally, is little Audrey Horne's first day at her new job.
Yeah. I made a note about their interaction there. I thought it was kind of interesting. I don't know if you saw this as well, but it's kind of like an angel devil type thing going on here with Audrey kind of being like the angel, and of course Blackie is the devil, especially in this scene. There's like I don't know, it reminds me of hell, like she's making a deal with the devil and stuff, and she's all
Yeah,
dressed in white too,
yep.
so yeah.
Yeah, she's dressed in white, and her office has this. There's like a lot of reds. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So yeah, you're spot on with the hell comparison, definitely.
And Blackie's chair is like fucking metal as hell. It's all like fucking dark black and like gnarled looking and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's excellent, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then in Blackie's office, she has surveillance for the casino part of the opera, probably the whole operation actually. So Audrey just happens to notice that there's a guy out there who looks exactly like Special Agent Dale Cooper.
Hmm.
Yeah. So she kind of notes that. And she also Blackie tells her that the owner's coming by tonight, and he likes to spend some time with the girls. So
Yeah. Yeah, he does.
yeah. So Big Ed is out in the surveillance cam. I guess Cooper's in there solo now, and Big Ed's with the rest of the crew. They're just checking everything out, listening. Because Cooper's wearing a wire. They're collecting data on this interaction with Jacques. Um, so he sets up this scenario, which is interesting. So um, he presents Jacques that he is bankrolling the entire operation through Leo. First of all, Leo he admits to knowing who Leo is. Okay. Um, and that he's like the money behind the operation. And he asks about the chip in the token, and he's like, "Oh, it was a special night out at the cabin." But Jacques is a little bit evasive at that point too
Hmm.
about what happened there actually. So then Cooper sets up. Obviously, there's like this sting that he's trying to set up, where he wants to cut out Leo and go directly to Jacques and some work that they have across the border, at the water treatment plant. Okay.
No.
So, obviously, I mean, you know, it's kind of like anyone would have seen this coming from a mile away, really. You know what I mean? Like some random guy shows up at you know, it's like you see this in movies all the time, but for some reason it works here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Jacques never saw it coming. He's like, "Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, money. Yeah, cool. I'm in. What's the job?"
So this scene is this is another very Lynchian thing that happens where this is kind of funny. It's like a funny, entertaining interaction. But then they get onto the subject of the chip
Mhm.
and what happened at the cabin, and then it just gets super fucking dark, man.
One of the darkest things out the whole series, in my opinion.
Yeah, because you got to remember that we had Laura and Ronette Pulaski out there at the cabin. Um, and this is where we find out about Waldo. And Laura liked to be tied up and all this stuff, which, it's like maybe when I first saw this, it creeped me out more now because maybe when I was way younger, obviously, when I saw Twin Peaks, but now as an adult man, middle-aged, aging man, I we're talking about high school girls, man. And
Yeah.
it's like, she's up there with these men and, Jacques probably like 40, Leo's like in his late 20s, maybe, she's wanting to get tied up and, the bird and, Leo put the bird on her neck and he was pecking her. And, there's just like these close-ups of Jacques' mouth. And then you see in also close-ups of Cooper's eyes as he's like telling him this story. And he's like, you can see that he's like restraining himself. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
The
There's a
anger
lot
is
of
building.
restraint.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
fucking anger in his eyes is crazy. That was a great job on his part. Like that acting was top notch.
Yeah, yeah, totally. And it's
Yeah.
just they have like it's such an intense scene there.
Yeah, bite the bullet, right? And let me make sure I get that right in my notes here because I quoted it or whatever. Yeah, bite the bullet. And like I said, it's super dark. That was another note I put on there, which you already talked about. But the whole zooming in of the mouth is so fucking
Yeah.
creepy. And his tongue, like, yeah, it's a lot, man.
Yeah. So then, they set the sting up. Jacques takes off to go somewhere, and then Cooper speaks into his microphone. He's like, got a trout on the line, Hawk, talking to the guys in the surveillance van.
Yeah,
So they got to prep for Jacques going across the border. They're going to set up a little sting operation for him.
yeah,
Um,
they got a big fish on the line, a really
oh
big
yeah,
one.
yeah. So we're cutting back to the Johnson household, and Shelly's washing her hair in the sink, which I found like so completely low rent, man. Like this, like what's up with that? What do you think? Why do you think she's washing her hair in the kitchen sink?
I don't know, but I thought the same thing. But if I go back to when I was a kid, that was a thing, man. Like my mom would wash her hair in the sink.
Really?
Yeah, like it was a thing. I'd
Huh?
even wash my hair in the sink as a kid. Like they would wash my hair in the sink. I have no idea why. I know we were pretty low income and stuff, so I don't even remember if we had a shower or not. I thought we
Oh,
may have just
really?
had a bathtub when I was a little kid. Yeah.
Oh, wow. All
I
right.
mean, I grew up in a house with a tree that grew out of the dining room. There was an oak tree that came up to the dining room and couldn't be cut because if it got cut, it'd leave a giant hole in the fucking
Holy shit!
house.
Really?
Yeah, I grew up very poor on a
Oh,
dirt
wow,
road.
man.
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah. I tell people all the time, they're like, no, I'm like, dude, there's a tree in my house, man. But that the whole taking washing your hair in the sink is a thing, and I don't know why that is. Is it
Huh?
easier on the person washing the hair or something? I have no idea, but it's
Oh,
definitely
wow.
something. Yeah.
Well, when I was like a young baby, they give me a bath in the kitchen sink.
Yeah, that was a thing too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I remember that as a baby. I have like some of my earliest memories are getting bathed in the kitchen sink at my grandmother's house.
yeah, that was a big thing growing up. But the whole hair in the sink thing, I don't know if it's still a thing now, but I know it was something back in the 90s.
So this is set up for the confrontation between Leo and Shelly. And so she's washing her hair. She's reaching over for a towel, and there's a gun there too. By the way, just to note that the towel just gets pulled right out of the way, and it's Leo. He's home, you know. And so they have this big confrontation there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, we're cutting back to the water plant. So now we see um, well, actually, first Deputy Andy is talking about his sort of relationship woes that he's having with Lucy, you know,
Hmm.
as they're waiting for Jacques to show up. Okay. And so that also plays big later on too.
Oh yeah.
We'll remember from past episodes that, Lucy and Deputy Andy are a couple. Lucy has been very standoffish lately, right? So there's something going on, and he doesn't know what he did wrong.
Yeah.
So
She's got a big secret though. That's for
he's got
sure.
just holding a secret right
Yeah.
now. Yeah. So what I thought was cool is that Jacques driving an El Camino when he rolls up.
Yeah, perfect car for him, man. It matches like El Caminos are really cool, but usually the people that ride around in El Caminos are on the darker, like spectrum of life. They're a bit dirty,
Do
and
they
just
make them anymore? Or El Caminos
no,
manufactured?
I wish, but no, they do make like some type of like truck car thing. I think Hyundai was making them for a while, but it's definitely no El Camino. El Caminos are they were cool as shit, especially ones with the bigger engines in there, like then they made like a V8 version or whatever. It was awesome.
I like El Caminos myself, man. I get stoked whenever I see them. I just didn't know that I wasn't sure if they manufactured them at all still.
No, they should bring him back though.
Yeah. So Jacques gets out of the El Camino. He's at the water plant, and then the police are on him. Freeze, put your hands up. Initially he's in custody, and then this is like pretty cool scene where Truman comes up and he's like, "You're under arrest for the murder of Laura Palmer and Ronette Pulaski." Right. So as they have him in custody, he makes a play for the one of the cops' guns, and he's fixing to shoot Truman, but Deputy Andy instinctively puts a couple rounds into Jacques.
Dude, Andy was on it. The worst shout out the whole group. Yeah, he had his moment. I thought it was really cool. I was like, all right, Andy, you did
Yeah,
good, man.
yeah. So we that that's the we have a wounded Jock in custody right now. So we cut to the Hayward house, and we see that Donna and James and Maddie are listening to the tape they found in Jacoby's office. So that's more of evidence. Dr. Hayward, and this is kind of cool how they connect these things. He comes up to Donna and he's like, I have an emergency at the hospital. I got to leave. So obviously they're bringing Jacques to the hospital, gets him out of the house. So they're alone in the house. The mother is in a wheelchair, so she's, in bed or, whatever. So we listen, and this is a heartbreaking scene for James because we listen to Laura talking about James, saying that James is so sweet, but he's so dumb and boring.
Yeah, you can see his reaction now. He's like melting. He's like, "Fuck, man,"
Yeah.
heartbreaking. Yeah,
I mean, I think that's like one of the worst things you can call a man is boring.
yeah, that's pretty bad. I mean, I call myself boring, but that's different. Just don't call me boring. Yeah, but yeah, that was a pretty rough scene, man.
Yeah, I would take that as like a very, very big slight.
Yeah,
So, yeah, so that's, she refers to a mystery man, and, she also acknowledges that she likes being bad on the tape too. Um, yeah, so she gets off on weird, rough sex. That's the takeaway from this. James, though she thinks he's sweet, is dumb and boring.
yeah. Also, too, her mentioning the mystery man brings up Lost Highway, things and with the mystery man, like interesting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we hear her say, and that just to pull her out of this whole like dark vibe that she's in, she's like, "Oh, here comes Mama with some cookies." So she's back to being the regular high school girl.
Yeah, so innocent, but yet so not so innocent. Like she's dark as fuck.
Yeah. So James, like, Don is like, "Sorry, I had to hear that." There's Maddie's obviously taken aback by the whole thing too, and James says something to the effect of like, I'm glad I know that now. I would have gone my whole life not knowing, and
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's like, yeah, it's definitely a moment too, man. And it's interesting too because just going back to like that period between being like a kid and an adult. It's like
Mhm.
when something happens in your life that changes everything. Where you think you're safe, like in your small town world, or your family can keep you safe somehow, or just the fact that you're removed from danger in a way that's actually an illusion. And this kind of is like this first season specifically with Twin Peaks is really speaks to that. You know, like all these characters were, going through life safe, going to high school. They have their little high school dramas and whatever. But now there's like a murder, and there's like this true evil out there, true supernatural evil,
Yeah.
manifested with murder. And they find all these secrets out about their friend that they just would see every day at high school, and it's like a powerful moment.
Yeah, and that's a big thing. Like the moment you find out you're not safe anymore, like you think you are, like that's a hell of a feeling.
Yeah,
You
man,
know,
totally. Yeah.
yeah, things aren't what you thought they were. Like there's always a dark underside to things, and yeah, especially nowadays. But it's always been dark. But yeah,
Actually, I wonder if like younger people, if they probably have a different experience just through social media and everything, I imagine.
I would think so. Yeah, I've heard things, especially with the social media, when it comes to like you, just the access to all the information they have. They kind of already know the world's pretty fucked up because all the shit they probably watch on their phones. You know what I mean? But like when we were growing up, we didn't know nothing about this other half of what's going on out there and stuff. We just saw like what the brighter side of things were. We didn't see the dark side, but I think these kids now can see the dark side instantly through their phones.
Yeah. So they come to the conclusion that Jacoby did not murder Laura Palmer, you know, but he's definitely sketchy. Like there's
Oh
some
yeah.
connection with that, or even if he didn't directly murder her, he contributed to her descent, I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think eventually murder would be on his mind if it wasn't already. He didn't get there first. There's
Interesting.
no way he wouldn't. I mean, that dude's off his rocker.
Yeah. So we cut back to the mill, and now the mill we know is an important item in here because of Horn's involvement, and then Catherine and you know um, you know the whole it's going to be blown up sort of insurance fraud sort of situation that we have.
Yeah.
So Leo's wearing this like sick like duster when he shows up too. He's
Yeah,
got like
I made a note of that. Yeah, the duster.
he looks like he's like the keyboard player in like Fields of the Nephilim or something with that duster on.
He does. I also made the comparison to him and Jeepers Creepers because he's got a big duster on.
Mm.
Like totally looks like he's got the same hairline and everything too. So
Yeah. Yeah, he's like the fill-in bass player on like an Australian Fields of the Nephilim tour or something like that.
yes, 100%. Like if you see a dude in a duster, they usually mean business or you know what I mean. Like who wears dusters, man? I know it's a thing or it used to be a thing, but like yeah, it's an odd thing to see somebody in a duster nowadays.
When back when I this is going back a while, a friend of mine, his brother was trying to get into professional wrestling,
Hmm.
right? And I remember like, he was like a big scary dude, and I think we were at Castle Heights in Queens. I forgot what show we was at. And this dude shows up after he started doing his pro wrestling, gig. And he had like long permed hair and like a dangling earring and a
Hmm.
duster.
Oh man, he meant
And
business.
yeah, he fully, transitioned over, I guess.
Oh man.
So Leo's got Shelly, and he's got her all tied up, and he hangs her in the mill, and he's got this totally like rigged up like bomb that he has, which is like an egg timer or like some,
Yeah,
some
like what the
fucking
hell is this, man? He's like, oh, you got 1 hour. He didn't even set that for an hour. He like set it for 15 minutes. Like fucking Leo's an idiot, man.
yeah. But the funniest thing is he's got these cans of gas and this like jury rigged like it's got like a battery and like an egg timer and like some wires and things. It's just
Yeah,
like so funny looking.
something that he would make.
Um he's like, "You broke my heart," it's like another exclamation. I'm like, well, maybe if you weren't beating her up all the time, and cheating on her and, sexually assaulting high school girls, like, this wouldn't have happened to you. You know what I mean?
Right, but yeah, she's the bad guy. Okay, Leo, yeah.
Yeah. So now we haven't really heard from Hank and Josie too much in this episode until now.
Mm.
So, we cut over to Josie and she pays Hank his 90 grand she was holding for him. And, Josie is, Pete Martell's friend that he's, just got a crush on. Pete Martell is married to Catherine, and and she's having an affair with Ben Horn. All right, and Catherine owns the mill, and or Josie actually owns the mill technically, because Andrew, her husband, who mysteriously murdered, or no, he mysteriously died in an accident, quote unquote.
Yeah.
So she inherited the mill. So this whole thing is like trying to you know, burn the mill down, insurance fraud. We need some sketchy characters involved to do this thing. Enter Leo, you know,
Mhm.
drug dealer, arsonist,
The
woman
sketchiest of the
beater.
sketchy. Yeah.
Yeah,
What
like trucker, like long haul
duster?
truck driver,
Duster
duster
wear. Yeah.
wear.
Does he not have a single earring too, as well, like a dangly earring?
I think
I
no,
think
he
he does, right?
does.
Yeah.
One dangling earring.
Yeah. There you go. Write him up as sketchy there.
Yeah. So the $90,000 is something that Hank was, she was holding it for Hank while he was in jail.
Hmm.
But like now that he's out, he's like, I don't know, man, 90K.
No light.
It feels, I don't know if that's going to cover it really, And he goes into some jailhouse math about, like first this preamble starts with him talking about how he got into like Oriental philosophy in
Yeah.
jail. Oriental.
Yeah. Fucking yeah.
And he pulled some like jailhouse logic on her and breaks down like, oh, this if it's like, I'm in eight, however long I'm in jail per day and this and the 90 grand doesn't seem like quite enough money for me, you know what I mean? So he's like setting up this trying to extort her because he obviously has information about her husband Andrew's demise,
Hmm.
that may or may not involve him directly.
Yeah. And I think this happens or now or it's about to happen, but I made a cool note here. I'm pretty sure you probably caught this too, but the moment Hank's standing in front of the deer that's mounted on the wall there, you can see
Yeah.
like it looks like he has horns, and they do that whole
Yes.
like blood pact thing, like it's told like some demonic shit. You know what I mean? He's like the demon making a fucking pact with her, like your ass is
Absolutely.
mine. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Oh,
the antlers came out like he was like some, demonic entity or something. It was pretty awesome.
yeah, that had to be on purpose, I would think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so like her whole thing that leads into the blood pact was like, Josie's like, well, we had a deal. And then he has this whole rap about, it's like, well, we still have a deal. It's like being in a deal with someone, being a partner with someone is like, a very deep sort of thing. So that's when they make the blood pact, you
Did
know.
you ever make a blood pact as a teenager or whatever with anybody?
No, I was afraid to do that, man.
Yeah,
What about you? You do
I
that?
have my friend Evan. We did it. I don't think we were teenagers yet. We might have been like fucking 12 or something. But yeah, we did that with just a little cut on our thumbs or whatever. Watching way too many movies, man. But yeah,
Yeah, I was afraid. I was afraid to do that.
and I have shared blood with a friend back in the day. With we were using the same gloves for sparring. We're not sparring with each other. We're just doing some practice stuff or whatever. And knuckles are all bloody. So technically, that's kind of a blood pack.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, I'm definitely in those settings. I've had blood on me and things like that. For
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Bloody noses and all that.
I have done the thumb one though. Like I said, it was just with Evan, and that was a long time ago. And we're still friends now, so that's still cool.
So maybe there's something to all this blood magic.
Yeah, there might be
Yeah,
something to it.
yeah. So we cut back to the mill. The Catherine's back at. She actually looking for the stolen ledger, and she thinks that Pete took it, but she's like, I didn't take it, and it's like she believes that think Josie has it, which she's right actually. Josie does have it, and then Catherine does a little bit of manipulation of her own.
Oh yeah.
Like Pete's a sentimental, nice guy, and she's sort of tries to appeal to him, like, I know our marriage has been a train wreck and all this, but at one point, we were in love with each other, and Pete kind of buys into that too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But then why they're hugging, we cut to her face a little bit, and there's this like her eyes are just like hard, and you can tell that she's not genuine about what the things that she said to Pete.
No, and that's terrible. I said Pete is like the most like genuinely good-hearted person in the whole town, at least one of them, and she's kind of diabolical.
Yeah, so she's trying to, enlist him to help her. She says, Pete, I need your help on this, and he's like, oh, I'll do whatever I can to help you, and it's like, just being led into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I got to have a sip of my strong black coffee here, real quick. I'm gonna take a quick break here.
Yeah, that's a must when you're doing the Twin Peaks podcast, even though I'm drinking water, but that's cool. I haven't
Yeah.
drank coffee in a couple of years. Maybe I get back to doing that again after all the Twin Peaks stuff is said and done.
Coffee and water, they're like pretty much all I drink. Maybe I'll have like tea, with occasionally, but that's about it for me. I don't drink soda. I don't, none of that stuff. I don't even drink juices or anything.
Yeah, I don't do none of that. I do sugar-free Coke and stuff. I like that. That's like my one vice, but everything else is straight water and
Yeah.
every once in a while Monster Rehab. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's my vices.
I have other vices though, just not that.
Oh yeah, same.
Yeah. So we're back at the station. Everyone's juicing up Deputy Andy for saving the day, rightly so. They're telling that they're, probably it's like it's kind of a cool scene because like, you get the sense that Andy's like sometimes the butt of everyone's jokes there
Yeah.
because he's definitely not cut out for being a cop.
No, he's so cartoonish too. Like he just, you know what I mean? He's such a cartoon character. Like, how's this guy a cop?
Yeah. I mean, and that just, kind of speaks to like the quaintness of the town of Twin Peaks too. Like, a guy like that probably could be a cop, without too much trouble.
Yeah, he's another Barney Fife for the most
Yeah.
part. Yeah.
So they're regaling, retelling the story about how he shot, Jacques and saved Truman's life and everything. And then, uh, Lucy shows up, and he's like, there's something going on between us. And she goes into the coffee chamber, or whatever the hell it is, like this little nook. It's
Yeah.
like, they have like, there's like an accordion door that closes too, which is kind of unusual, I think,
Yeah.
for the
What the
coffee
hell is
break
that?
room.
Yeah, I never
Yeah.
seen that before. It's crazy.
So she goes into the coffee chamber, and Andy, they're like, oh, go get her, Andy, let's go. So he rolls up to close the chamber door there, the accordion door. And, he kind of confronts her about like, what's up? It's like, so they start embracing, kissing, and then she's like, I'm pregnant.
Yeah. Drop the bomb.
Yeah. Um, Andy's shocked, you know. So what are your feelings about that? Like should he have been shocked or what? I mean, obviously that's a big item to lay on somebody.
Yeah, I mean, because I don't believe it's his baby. You know what I mean? Like
But like
that's
at
why.
this juncture though, at this
Oh yeah,
juncture,
yeah. I would
yeah.
be shocked too. Hell yeah. I mean, yeah. I think that's a normal reaction. It's like, what the fuck? Like, really? You're like, what's going on here? Like, how? You know?
Yeah, because more comes out in the second season
Yeah.
about all this. But at the moment I was just like, okay, I could see you being shocked, but not so like I mean, you get the sense that Lucy and Deputy Andy have been together for a really long time, right?
Yeah.
So in a small town, I mean, I'm thinking back to I grew up in a small town, and it's like, these things happen. They've been together for a long time. I would say a good portion of people in like couples, married couples, that's how their marriage started out. They get pregnant. One woman gets pregnant, they get married.
Yeah.
At least so it doesn't seem out of the realm of possibility that this could possibly be a good thing for their relationship. But yeah, anyway, he's like stone faced about it, like no reaction really, just like shocked.
Yeah.
And he kind of like retreats, and then Lucy emerges from the coffee chamber and tells everyone fresh coffee.
Yeah. She's pissed.
She's pissed. She's like
Yeah.
fresh coffee. She's back at her phone station, and then the phone rings, and she drops. It's Bobby, and he drops a dime on James, who, if you remember from the last season that we mentioned earlier, last episode rather, he planted some drugs on his motorcycle. So
Hmm.
she says he says that James is an easy rider,
Yeah, yeah,
which these references are so awesome, man.
they are. Yeah, picking on old poor James, Mr. Good Guy. You know what I mean? Like he's a good dude, and yeah,
Yeah.
and fucking all the douchebags picking on him.
So we're back at the hospital. Cooper is and Jacques are being questioned. Cooper and Truman are questioning Jacques. You know,
Mhm.
he's conscious now. Um, they talk about his implication with Leo, and because if you remember from one of the earlier episodes, Shelley finds a bloody shirt in the laundry,
Hmm.
and so we're thinking that this had something to do with the actual murder, but in effect it does not because Jacques, Leo, and Laura and Ronette Pulaski were partying, and then Leo just like started a fight with Jacques, and they used his shirt to wipe some blood down, right? And then
Typical Leo thing. Yeah,
yeah,
starting to fight with a friend.
yeah, and it's like this is not necessarily who I am, but like I've observed scenarios with people who like drink a lot and party and are friends, quote unquote, and then just out of nowhere, a violent interaction will happen. And so that's kind of brand, I think, for these types of people, really.
Yeah, I've seen it happen before too. Yep,
Yeah,
it's definitely
like
on
over
brand.
something, over nothing at all, and that's what they asked him. It's what were you? Why did Leo punch you? He's like, I don't know. It just happened.
Yeah.
So at this point, they're trying to like implicate directly, not so much as an accessory. They're trying to implicate Jacques as in the murder.
Mhm.
So he says he maintains that Leo just leaves with the girls and he doesn't know anything about what happened in the train car. All right.
Mhm.
So, he's definitely an accessory to this murder, because I mean, the fact of the matter is like Leo's with these underage girls. There's illicit behavior, and like he shouldn't have been involved in something like that. Right.
Yeah, yeah. He's part of this, no matter what he says. But yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So he took the girls to the train car by himself, allegedly, you know. Uh, we cut over to Jacoby. We see that he's stable now. Like he's not, his heart attack, everything's under control. Um, he, hey, Dr. Hayward is, checking in on him. And Hayward tells Cooper that Jacoby claims to have gotten a call from Laura Palmer to meet him at Easter Park. And it was actually Maddie, right?
Hmm.
So, he kind of hips him to this whole thing. Yeah. Um, So we cut back to Pete and Catherine. They're looking for the ledger. Pete finds his high school yearbook, and Pete's a sentimental guy, right? So he's like in that land of reminiscence, and this is when Catherine is like, "Oh, I should have never taken you out of the mill and brought you to the big house or whatever." This whole BS line that she shoots him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and this is when Catherine gets a phone call from Hank, and talking about the mill. And so she tells Hank, let's talk terms, about like maybe we can figure out some financial arrangement about this whole thing.
Is this also right where they did the shot of the sawmill? Like you see the sawmill and like the smokestacks and everything.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
made a note about that, man. How fucking evil that looks, and just like
Yeah.
very liminal too. Like all this liminal horror that's coming out now. Like this is the beginning of all this stuff. Like
Oh yeah.
huge liminal horror vibes of that.
Yeah, which we can talk about after we wrap this up. But I'm really excited about some of that stuff. I have been for a while, but now it's really coming to the forefront.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're back at the RR diner, and Norma and Hank, they're Hank's trying to get back in her good graces. Hank's like trying to work his game on everybody right now. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He's like trying to extort Josie. he's putting himself in the middle of all this illegal shit that's going on. And and also keep in mind, Norma and Hank are still married. You know,
Mhm.
they're separated, but they're still married. So he's trying to ingratiate himself, and back into her good graces, and he's talking about how he dreamed about her while he was in jail. And, at first I was like, man, is she going to fall for this again? You know what I mean? Like, this guy's like obviously a fraud, man. And she
Mhm.
has gotten a taste of the good life with a guy like Ed Hurley, even though
Yeah.
he's married, right?
Yeah.
I completely skipped over the part where Ed walks in on Nadine trying to kill herself too, which
Oh yeah, that was a pretty powerful scene. Pretty
yeah.
pretty fucked up.
So that happened actually earlier in the episode where we see Nadine setting out this whole scenario with a bunch of pills and water, and she's like, you know what, I don't want to live anymore. And then Hank walks in and finds her basically, but she doesn't die. She's something else happens to her next
Mm.
season, but
Yeah, yeah,
she's still with us, okay?
yeah.
But still in all though, it's like, Norma, Ed, Nadine, Hank, it's like a tangled web of just misery. And I imagine like, these I guess once again, having grown up in a small town, I got out right. I left right after I graduated, but checking in with some people that stuck around, these kinds of connections when there's such a small pool of people available
Hmm.
always seem to kind of come to the forefront. They always seem to develop these like webs of things like that.
Yeah, and it makes sense being in a small town like that. There's not, you don't have many options, and
Yeah.
yeah, things will get tangled up.
Yeah. So Hank moves in to kiss her, and they kiss, but it's hard to read Norma's face right now at this point. You don't know if she's like, you know, she in her mind, I imagine like she's like, well, they're Big Ed and her are cool right now. They're sort of stepping away because
Hmm.
Hank got out of jail basically. And Hank is still her husband technically. And so maybe Hank even says something to the effect. It's like, well, maybe the next 20 years are the good ones.
Hmm.
And so he's kind of planting these seeds in her mind about how, oh, all that bad stuff's behind me, and maybe the future is where it's at, even though the past kind of sucked.
Yeah, but he's totally full of shit. He's just trying to get what's his, what he wants. It's very much a snake. That's why like the demon qualities come into play with this guy.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, yeah. So Cooper, we're back at the station again, and we got Truman. We got hold on, just might have to cut this for a second here. Oh, Shelley. I'm getting the names mixed up in my head here. Um, yeah, so Truman is back at the station. Um, Shelley tells him that Leo called her, and James shows up. They talk to James about the drugs that they find, like in the gas tank. Now, do you think that they believe that James is you know like a drug dealer or using drugs or anything like that?
I don't believe so. I mean, he is grilled pretty hard about it and stuff, but I don't think they truly believe he's that type of guy. I would hope they didn't anyways. They don't seem like they do, but they're just doing their regular police stuff.
Yeah. Now, what comes up now is like a really cool scene.
Hmm.
And it's like, it just, so Leland Palmer arrives at the hospital, or no, the police station rather,
Yeah.
because he caught wind, maybe through the ether, that they found the killer. So he comes in, even though this is really cool because like he seems normal at first, but he doesn't seem exactly himself either.
Oh no, it's definitely that was another note I made. That's not Leland. That's I believe that's Bob.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
because he's like, oh, I've heard you found the killer. And then they talk about how at that point they still think Jacques might have been the killer, I think. And
Hmm.
that's when they say he's at the hospital, right? And that's when this shadow goes over Ray Wise's face, and he's like, hospital. Ray Wise, Leland, sorry. Ray Wise
Yeah.
is the actor, Leland Palmer.
He
Yeah.
conveys emotion so well on his face. He's one of the best character actors ever, man.
Dude, Ray Wise should be like a movie star. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he should be like De Niro level or any of those guys.
Yeah,
Pacino, like
man.
he's up there with them.
Dude, he's such a subtle, like underrated actor, man. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah. Anyway,
he plays evil so well too. Like
yeah.
like
Yeah.
yeah,
Props, man.
yeah.
Totally. And he's got that look too. You know? I don't know. Have you ever read, have you ever read Daniel Close's comics? Like, Eight Ball and all that sort of stuff.
I have not, no.
A lot of Daniel Close's material is very David Lynch. It's like black and white comics.
Hmm.
And, and a lot of his characters have that same face that Leland Palmer has. Like it's very like American, small town, like creepiness like that.
Yeah, he has a very distinctive face. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
If you ever want to check out something, there's you can get a trade called like a velvet glove cast in iron. That's
Cool
like
name.
very, very cool. Very cool. Like very, very much an example of this kind of stuff.
Okay, yeah, I definitely have to check that out.
Yeah. So James, they're grilling James about the drugs. He talks about this, the red Corvette, which is obviously a reference to Leo.
Hmm.
Um, so we're back in at One-Eyed Jack's, and we see that Ben Horn is closing the deal. And this whole thing was about, his focus was closing this real estate deal with these Scandinavians for what is it called, Ghost Park or something like that.
I believe so. It's a Ghost something. Yeah, Ghost Park sounds right. Should have made a
Yeah.
note of that.
Um, yeah, so they're closing the deal. He's you know, gonna like regale these guys with some prostitutes and drugs or maybe booze or whatever, invite them to do some gambling, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, phone rings. It's Hank, and he tells Ben that Leo Johnson is about to get a house call. Now
Hmm.
remember, Leo left um Shelly at the mill with that rigged up detonator and doused the place in gasoline. So he's not no longer at the mill. He's probably heading home at this point.
Right.
Yeah. Bobby is at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. So he shows up and Leo's there and he gets the boots thrown to him by Leo. He's like, Shelly's not there. Obviously, he's looking for Shelly. She's tied up at the mill. Um, so he's getting the boots thrown to him by Leo. But then Leo, you hear he gets shot through the window. And we have to believe that's obviously either Hank or someone working for Hank pulling the trigger on him.
Yeah, that whole scene with Leo and the axe and all too, like it gave me like 80s slasher vibes, like
Yeah.
like Jason Voorhees type stuff from like the earlier films. Like I can't remember which one in particular, but the whole scene seemed like yeah, like a Jason film. I think it might have been like the third one or whatever when he actually used axes and stuff like that. So it had that total slasher feel to it.
Yeah, Leo's kind of stalking Bobby through the house and smashing things and menacing him with an axe, and all this stuff. And he's about to deliver the fatal blow, then he gets shot.
And did you notice too when he got shot? I think he got shot in the shoulder. And
Yeah.
also on the video they were watching there, that soap opera, the dude in that one got shot in the shoulder as well. It's like art imitating life or something, you know?
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up actually. So Leo, they leave him, he's on the couch bleeding out, he's bleeding, right? And Invitation to Love, the soap opera, is
Yeah.
playing on the TV. Yeah. When dude, that's funny that let's think about that for a second. When the hell is that show on? This is
Right.
like nighttime when and remember this is tired youngsters out there TV back in the 90s in the 80s for most of the entire 20th century you had to watch a show when it was on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So is there like some channel that has like a 24-hour rotation of Invitation to Love playing? Like that's
What if the invitation of love that's always playing is part of like the darkness that's in the forest? It's like that's part of that, and it's some kind of like supernatural thing as well. Because what happens on there happens in Twin Peaks. What
that's
if it's
excellent idea, man.
yeah,
I love
yeah,
that.
yeah,
It's almost like in that that creepy pasta where there's like that the hidden TV show.
Yeah, I was thinking I was about to say the same thing. Candle Cove, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. God damn, that's such a good fucking series. Channel Zero, if anybody's never seen that, watch it on Shudder. It's so fucking good.
Is it still on Shutter? Because I think they moved it to Netflix. No.
Did they? I don't know. I haven't checked in a while, but I know last place I watched it was on Shudder. But yeah, it's such an underrated show. I think they did what, 4 seasons, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
god damn, it's good stuff.
I watched it on Netflix. I mean, I'm sorry, on Shutter. Yeah. I
I
don't know. I
watch on
hope
the. Oh, go ahead.
hope it's still on Shutter. Hopefully.
I hope so too, because it's a perfect place for it. I originally watched it on Sci-Fi Channel, man. When
Yeah.
it first came out, I'm like, oh, this would be something, sci-fi original. Let's see. I was like, holy shit, this is like the best shit ever.
So Catherine, remember she got a phone call about the mill. So she shows up. She's at the mill, and she finds Shelly tied up. She's like, "Who the hell are you?" Like,
Mhm.
and that's another thing. Even though we know all these characters, not all the characters know each other.
Right.
So that's kind of an interesting thing. So she lets her out. The fire is starting to engulf, starting to spread, starting to engulf the plant. Um, and then Pete shows up, obviously, because there's a fire at his mill. And, he's with his men and he's asking, like, is anyone left any of our guys in there still? He sees that Catherine's car is there, but he can't find Catherine. And he's like, I'm going in. I'm going to find her. And he's like, she's still my wife. So he's, kind of under her spell again. Now the question is, do you think that Catherine would go into a burning building to get Pete?
Oh hell no. Yeah, let him burn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like kind of after that, we're back at One Eye Jacks, and remember this is Audrey's first day on the job. When we go back to her, there's like this weird woman, like
The Hunchback
preparing
lady.
her. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
she's like preparing her, like almost like she's about to be like sacrificed or something.
Another reference to like the whole hell thing, man. Like there's
Yeah,
definitely something weird about One Eye Jacks. There's yeah, that the darkness lives in One Eye Jacks, and yeah, it's just so random. Like that lady, the way she looked and stuff, the hunchback, and like, what the fuck is this? Just randomly.
and then you don't see her again.
No, she kind of just like scurries off in a weird way. Like what the hell is going on here?
And you know something? I didn't really all these years. I never really remembered seeing the Hunchback woman until this last viewing.
hmm
Yeah, so it's like, what's up with her?
And it happens so fast. It's real brief. It's almost like another thing that Dave Lynch did with the what was it in Mulholland Drive when the scene when they walk outside the restaurant and the homeless person's there. It's there for like an instant, and when they're talking about nightmares and stuff, and it's gone. This is kind of like one of those type scenes.
That's pretty much what I thought about too. Was Mulholland Drive?
Mm. With the
Yeah,
great Bonnie Aarons playing that part, she's so awesome. Also known
guest
as the
guest
Nun. Yeah.
former guest on your show, man.
Yes. Yeah. I would like to have her on again because she's really cool. But yeah.
Hell yeah, yeah. So we go back to the Great Northern, and we see Cooper wrapping it up for the day. He's going back to his room. He's making his daily report, and there's a note under his door. Now, who was that note from? Did
Oh,
you
that's
get
from
that?
Audrey, I believe.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I thought too. The phone rings when he gets into his room, and it's Deputy Andy telling him that Leo Johnson has been shot. Room service shows up, but it's not room service.
No.
He opens the door and he takes some fire, and that's the end, dude.
There's a couple things that we missed there. The part in the hospital where Renault gets suffocated with the pillow.
Oh, right. Yeah. How did I
Yeah.
skip that part? Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting part. And the whole suffocating with the pillow thing was huge in the 80s and the 90s. Like, that's the way to kill somebody. You want no evidence, you suffocate them with the pillow. You don't really see that no more in the newer films.
No, no, they don't. Yeah. So Leland Palmer kills Jacques, obviously, because, or I should say, Bobby killed Jacques through Leland Palmer. Bob rather, Killer Bob, not Bobby, the punk.
Yeah, definitely not him.
Yeah, Bob, the Killer Bob kills Jacques through Leland Palmer.
Mm.
Yeah, how did I forget that part? Yeah,
And sorry, I made a note of that just because of the whole pillow death thing. I'm like, man, you don't see pillow death anymore, and like, and that's a horrible way to die. Like, it takes a lot of force and stuff to actually smother somebody with a pillow. I've had some, as a kid growing up fighting with your cousins or whatever and stuff. You have pillow fights, and sometimes you get a little brutal, but it takes a lot of force to try to suffocate somebody with it.
Yeah, dude, getting suffocated is probably not a good way to get killed, man.
And also too another part when Audrey met her dad at One Eye Jacks. Remember that was one of the last scenes too. Super creepy. It's like, yeah.
Yeah,
Lot went on with this episode. It's one of the best episodes of this whole series, in my opinion.
ends on a cliffhanger. We don't know what happens. Is Cooper dead? What happens to Audrey? What happens to Leo? What happens at the mill?
Hmm.
A lot of open ends at the end of the first season.
Yeah. And this once the season's completed or whatever, like season two, we really get into more of the supernatural element and stuff. Like it gets real weird with season two.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, this is like a good setup, and yeah, looking forward to getting into season two.
Oh yeah, man. But yeah, like I was talking about with the liminal horror stuff, yeah, liminal horror is number one right now. I think the back rooms is like the highest rated film right now, making the most money, and yeah, I'm glad to see that.
Did you see it yet?
I have not. I'm gonna go see it on my birthday. My
Oh, cool.
birthday's in a week or so. So
Excellent. Yeah, I saw it when it came out, actually, the day it came out on the opening day. Um, I went to an early show and I really liked it, man. I thought it was cool.
I love that whole like I love all the YouTube videos. That one you sent me with the underground mall, dude.
Oh yeah, that no, the Kane Parsons project.
I've been sending it out to everybody. I'm like, hey, check this out. Check this out. It's so good. And like, it hits me hard because, malls are disappearing and stuff
Yeah.
like, and it's crazy. Like, it just brings back so much. And this kid's only like 20. He doesn't know about this shit, but
And
he's channeling it.
that's so interesting too, I find, because, like you and I are, I definitely the malls were huge when I was a kid, you
Yeah, for
know.
me too. Yeah.
Yeah. And this dude missed out on that whole thing. And I feel like even like Kyle Ball, like the guy who did Skinamarink and like all these other these creators
Mhm.
that are making these films and doing liminal horror stuff, it's almost like that's like this kind of like legendary thing, It's almost like it reminds me in some ways. I mean, this is probably a huge projection on my part. Like when you read like a Kane novel or like you read like a Robert E. Howard story, a short story, Sword and Sorcery, where like the guy always rolls up on some ruin, you know,
Mhm.
like and the ruin is like a liminal space.
Yeah.
And that's what these newer filmmakers inhabiting these archaic places like malls, like especially shut down malls, or even like the back rooms, like an empty office space, or like these like ruins, these like remnants of a past civilization or something like that. Specifically that series, what the hell is it called? The oldest stop, whatever it's called, that one.
Yeah.
Where he goes underground and he ends up in this like abandoned mall. That's like a remnant of a past civilization, man. It's cool.
Yeah, that one hits hard because, like I said, in our time, malls were big. I mean, in the 90s, early 2000s and stuff, man, that was a place to go on dates. Like the mall was huge. You did so many things in the mall. They're fucking Christmas shop and whatever and stuff. And now, like the remnants of the malls we have, like in my area, like the hospital owns half the fucking mall. There's like a basketball court in it. It's not the same thing it used to be. It's just like fucking, it's ruins, compared to what it used to be. And it's wild.
Yeah, it's I have so many great memories of going to the mall with my family, like when I was a kid, Christmas shopping. There was always like, Santa was there and all this other stuff. Just real quick, that's the other series that Kane Parsons did. It's called The Oldest View. If
That's
anyone
it.
wants to go out there and check it out, it's on YouTube. But yeah, it's now it's like this, like I said, this ruin, this like remnant of a past time that's dying.
Yeah, man, and I'm definitely digging this style of horror. This is totally up my alley, and it's also like reminiscent of like the creepy pasta stuff too. More of that's coming into focus again because creepy pasta, if you think about it, is kind of retro now because that was out in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
So now that's becoming like I don't feel so guilty going back and like reading about these creepy pastas because they're not all like hip and hot topicy anymore. You know what I mean? They're like kind of a bit archaic and older now. So, and they got some really good stories. Like some of the shit's really creepy.
Oh yeah, man. I'm definitely a fan of all that stuff. Even when it was like cool to be into it, I still thought it was good. It was
Yeah.
quality stories. They're all like a page long or something like that. It's cool.
Yeah, and I love the like point of view. They usually use like a first person point of view. I love that, and yeah, and like I was saying earlier with Channel Zero, that's the prime example of creepy pasta done right, like video format.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
that was good
awesome.
stuff. But yeah, a lot of good stuff coming out this year, man. So it's gonna be a good year. And I look forward to hitting on season 2 of Twin Peaks, and we still have a good journey ahead of us.
Oh yeah.